Okay, and we're recording. I was gonna record at the beach, but it was way too fucking cold for that, so I'm just here chilling in my car now. My car, yes. Finally got myself a fucking car. I know the lighting sucks, but fuck it. Nobody watches these videos to see my pretty face. Okay. So, last week was International Women's Day, and I was gonna do a video about feminism, but then I forgot and I got lazy, so here I am doing it now. I have no real issues with feminism other than a lot of the stupid stuff you see on Facebook about female entitlement and this and that. Like, I personally don't see myself as a feminist. I'm more of an individualist. I think it's more the individual that should matter as opposed to the group. And I feel that feminism is just this herd mentality. I mean, from an individualist standpoint, it would coincide with some feminist values, such as women should be able to be astronauts or engineers or whatever the hell they want to be. I got no issue with that. They're not going to face any resistance from me if that's what they want to do, because it depends on their individual desires, their individual wants. And as an individualist, I wouldn't want to hold anybody back if that's what they want to do, so long as nobody else, I guess you can say nobody else gets hurt, as long as everybody's a willing participant. And yeah, I mean, that's basically it. The only issues I have with feminism is that it promotes this herd mentality, that all women should be equal to men, which is, it sounds weird because there are some men out there who aren't even equal to other men. I mean, I feel like if somebody says, like, I'm equal to Donald Trump, I would find that insulting. Fuck no, I'm not equal to him. And I'm sure there are guys out there who wouldn't see themselves as equal to me. They might find that absurd, preposterous. So just from that premise alone, I feel like feminism just falls flat on its face. And somebody posted a video on Facebook. It's kind of cute. So there's this mom and the daughter. They're like at a bookstore or something, and they start taking away all the books that have just male characters and something about adventures. And it was like children's books. And they started with, I don't know, it was like 100, 500 books. But by the end of it, they're only left with like 6 books. And those are the 5-6 books that have like a girl as a protagonist that has goes on these adventures or something. And that's supposed to be a bad thing because it promotes the idea that women or little girls can't pursue all these things that little boys are typically encouraged to pursue, or at least known to pursue. It's kind of funny because I feel like if you feel so strongly about that, why don't you write the fucking book yourself? I mean, this is a capitalist society. If you feel like there's something lacking in the market, well, then you are more than welcome to put something of value out there. These people, whoever was in charge of making that video, should write the fucking book about some little girl who goes on some crazy adventure and kicks ass. I mean, nobody's stopping them from doing that. I mean, if you have the means to make a video about it, you probably have the means to buy some pencils, pens, and paper to write it. There you go. So I would say that would be my biggest issue. Things like that. Silly feminists. And another topic, or another thing concerning feminism that I wanted to talk about, was how it tries to make, in its pursuit of making women equal to men, I feel like it devalues that which is feminine in pursuit of that which is masculine. The masculine is good. Women have to be strong, independent, go-getters, they will have to achieve some type of manly success, whereas femininity is looked down upon. It's frowned upon. Like, oh, you're feminine, you want to stay at home, you want to be a housewife. Like, things like that are viewed as bad. Whereas I would argue that it's neither good nor bad, it's just a preference. And I feel like most men are masculine and most women are feminine. So it's only the minorities where you have feminine men and masculine women that we would have to concern ourselves with in this case. So if there's a masculine woman out there who wants to be an engineer or be CEO of some company, I don't see what the point is in trying to stop her. If that's what she wants to do, she should be encouraged to do that. You know, it's all about the individual. And if there's a feminine man out there who maybe wants to stay at home, doesn't really into like lifting weights or doing sports, anything of that nature, that's on him. And yeah, like I just feel like feminism, at least modern feminism, views femininity as something bad, something that's frowned upon, when reality is just two halves of one whole, so to speak. You can't have the masculine without the feminine and vice versa. So for any feminine women out there, it's great. And any masculine women out there, it's just as great. You're the minority, I would argue. But, yeah, whatever. And, I think that was pretty much it concerning that. Another thing I wanted to talk about was something called race realism, which is basically racism with scientific terms, trying to justify it, or scientific racism, as from what I found in Google. And it's the whole, blacks have a lower IQ, blacks are more prone to criminality, it's genetic, whites are superior, blah, blah, blah. And again, you fall into this herd mentality of an individual trying to associate oneself with a group, in this case, a race. Even though scientifically there's really no definition for race, at least from what I remember in my anthropology class. So yeah, I mean, if you have somebody who's white who identifies with white people as a race and feels proud about that, you lose yourself in that group. Instead of wanting to pursue your own desires, trying to stand out above, I mean, if you're white, I mean, that you just happen to be born white. I mean, there's not much you can do. That's just how you came out. But try to be the most intelligent. Try to be the best at what you want to be. Instead of, oh, I'm white, therefore I identify with this group because this group is superior to some other group. You have this in-group, out-group thing going on. Us versus them. And in a lot of ways, it shouldn't be so surprising because that's how we evolved. When you're out there in the fucking wilderness and there's a bunch of groups of people, it's my group, people that I know, people that I associate with, and then there's the other group, people that I don't know. I don't know if they want to hurt me. I don't know what their intentions are. Do they want to steal my food, my women, my other resources? So that's why racism doesn't really surprise me. And in a lot of ways, we do a lot of this without even thinking about it. Except instead of with skin color or some other physical properties, we tend to group ourselves with other people who share the same beliefs or ideas. Right? We're the Christians, they're the Muslims, we're the atheists, they're the theists, etc. So instead of race, now you just substitute that with an idea, a belief. I would argue that one is more logical than the other, but essentially we do this. It's in us to want to be part of a group and associate with the group. And I think the issue is that people don't really think about it. when it comes to race, what they call race realism, people say, oh, well, whites are superior because we have higher IQs, less prone to criminality, things like that. Which I would argue that even if all that were true, like, who gives a shit? Let's say that black people are less intelligent than white people. Like, you don't have to be fucking Einstein to make it in this world. Nobody says you have to be Einstein to make it in this world. I mean, look at Donald Trump. He's a fucking dumbass and he's president. There you go. And he's white. Or orange. Mostly orange, but there you go. My point is still valid. And again, it's just this herd mentality of wanting to identify with a group. Like, me personally, I never really felt like part of any group. Like, oh, you're Hispanic, but I was born here in the States, but you're Mexican, but I look white, so what are you? I don't know. Honestly, I just see myself as a human being. I'm just one human being and populated or sharing this planet with other human beings. And I feel like if that's how we saw each other, I mean, we still have problems, but at least we wouldn't have stupid problems. So yeah. And then another thing that I want to talk about is when people bring up the whole criminality thing, they make it seem like it's a bad thing. Like, to be a criminal is something bad, whereas criminality is just dictated by what is legal and what is not legal. I mean, here in the US, drugs that are not, pharmaceutical drugs are illegal. So if you use those recreationally, then you are a criminal. Even though that doesn't make any sense. Again, the only reason that stealing is wrong is because people impose that value on us. If stealing weren't wrong, if it wasn't illegal, well, you could steal and you wouldn't be a criminal. And also, when people say that whites commit less crimes, blacks or Hispanics, whatever, more prone to criminality, they make it seem like they wouldn't resort to those tactics if shit were to hit the fan. I mean, I don't know if they know this, but that's exactly what Europeans have been doing up until World War II. They just, one group of white people trying to take over another group of white people, and they've just been slaughtering each other for ages and ages. So, I mean, they do it too, they just don't want to admit it. I mean, it's been going on since fucking people sprung out of Africa. It's always one group trying to control another group. And this is just one way or another way of trying to do that, which is, of course, fucking stupid. They try to make it seem like they're so fucking civil, when in reality, civility is, me personally, that's not something I would find ideal. So, yeah. I guess that's it for today.